we can have a conversation about these magical extra services that people think we have. Let me break it down very clearly. The magical services that do not exist in the city of Worcester are these. You are an unhoused person, you get offered services. That consists of a shelter at 25 Queen Street or the overflow at MLK. If you are a veteran that has suffered PTSD, if you are a victim of survivor of domestic violence, if you are a woman, a transgender person, a part of the LGBT community that has been sexually assaulted and have no trust in any authority figure, you are asked to go to a place with 100 people in bunk beds that are having multiple issues for no fault of their own. Yes, unhoused people struggle with mental health, substance use disorder, just like in the general population. Perfectly, people who are housed deal with the same issues. The only difference is those of us that may have dealt with those issues at one point or the other have the privilege of having access to services, and those people don't. So please do not tell me that there are some magical services that people refuse because they do not want to get better, they do not want access to housing, they do not want access to treatment. Number one. Number two, why are we so afraid of just putting on the table the different evidence-based, research-based solutions that other communities may have proven to be somewhat successful in the interim? While we know that we're not going to solve homelessness, we need to find those interim solutions. That is all I proposed. That is all I have been proposing from the very beginning. Have a conversation about what those interim solutions could look like. No, I don't think actually that putting tents in a park actually works. You know why? Because it will take amounts of resources that we do not have to be able to provide the amenities necessary so folks have a somewhat dignified place to live. But what might work is an interim place where we can actually think about providing some sort of dignified ways, whether it's sanitation, whether it's services, whether it's a place that actual people who need support can go find their clients and their patients and provide life-saving healthcare services. That is all I've asked from the very beginning. And at every turn, somehow, this conversation turns into, we don't want to care about our neighbors. We don't want to care about quality of life. When have I ever said that I got elected, that he got elected, that they got elected, that every person here got elected, so we wouldn't perform our basic service as public servants, which is to care with dignity for everybody, and with solutions that are based on research and not on fear-mongering. I am asking for the multiple times that I've asked, please bring those folks to the table so they can inform a comprehensive public health, public safety, people-centered solution that does not rely on fear. Please bring Mr. Cahill back to the table, because he's been at the table from the very beginning when you convened that task force. And in fact, there are providers who have had a renewed relationship with Mr. Cahill and understand that they're put in a horrible position. They're put in a horrible position to have to go and tell people that they have to leave with no medical services, on the other hand, with no vouchers or with no opportunities for housing. So all I'm asking today, to my colleagues, to my constituents, to everybody who's listening, let's please expand that conversation. Let's expand that table so those folks have a voice, that those folks have a perspective, that those of us that understand the work, the people in the front lines, can have a perspective, and that the neighbors are heard and their complaints and their issues are taken into consideration. I reject every effort now behind the scenes in public or wherever that equates this conversation with either or, that we cannot have a comprehensive public safety for all of our residents. I didn't grow up in this country. I am a new resident of Worcester. I've been here for 22 years. Should I go back because I didn't grow up here? Those folks have the right to be here. Yes, I will wrap up in just a second, Mr. Mayor, because this is an important conversation, and I do not want the complexity of it to be lost in any comments that might be misconstrued, that none of us care about the quality of life of all of our residents.